Hello. Welcome to this evening's latest in a series of interviews we have been having with students who are currently at the beginning of their journey in education and their plans for the future. My name is Aloysius and Thank you for joining me. Over the last few weeks we have been asking of our guests 3 questions. Your motivation for becoming a teacher, why you chose the phase of schooling you have, and how the digital world we live in will influence the type of teacher you hope to become. Welcome to my final guest, Andrew Towers. Andrew, welcome.
Hi Aloysius, great to be here.
So, if it is alright with you, let's begin, shall we?
No problems.
So you are determined to become an educator. Can you tell us what your main motivation was behind this?
Sure. It all began when I was working at the Lady Salento Children's Hospital here in Brisbane. I was working in the IT department and implementing all the new computers and making sure all the applications were all working in the new environment. So I was working fairly closely with the staff. And naturally that meant I was working closely with the children. During my employment there, I just noticed there are a few children with disabilities around the traps, but more importantly I noticed how normal people would interact with some of these children. And for the majority there was no real problem. But depending on the rarity and the physical traits of the disability, the reaction from most people initially can be something that's hard to suppress, like surprise, or they want to stare, or point, things like that. For example, I met a 9-year-old girl and she had progeria, the syndrome that makes the kids look like little old people. Anyhow, she was running around behaving just like all other children do, and everyone else sort of openly stared and pointed at her, and although it's understandable, I didn't really like it. It sort of made me angry. So it pricked my conscience a little bit, and I thought if I could become a teacher, I could help limit this reaction by people somehow. If I work closely with the students who have these disabilities, I could help limit the struggles that they might face as well. So from their impairment, things like that. I've always been empathetic and very sympathetic to people who do live with a disability, especially their families. How they face the world where they could be made fun of, struggle to handle everyday tasks, and expect to develop in all areas that are necessary for children. It's beyond me. To be honest though, if I could help just one student with a disability learn a functional skill like handling money, it's something that will last a lifetime, and I'm pretty certain that any struggles I might find teaching students like this will pale in comparison to the feeling of changing someone's life like that.
And did these events help you determine what phase of schooling you wish to teach in the future?
Yes, I believe they did. Shortly after I graduated high school, I was kicking around the idea of becoming a secondary ed teacher, and then I got sidetracked through work commitments and marriage, and I ended up in IT. So I think working at the hospital was really the kick in the pants that I needed. It definitely opened my eyes, because there's a special school attached to the hospital, and it deals not only for students with disabilities but also mainstream students and students that have had operations that can only do a couple of hours a day, or they need care, things like that. I'm also good at showing things to people and describing things in more detail. I can engage in tasks that are normally resolved for older students, I will imagine, simply because I have that patience of dealing with people that are developed in IT. Working in IT, you really need to develop 2 things: an ability to teach anyone of any age group anything, and patience. Patience. Both of these, I think, will be quite relevant in my future career as a teacher.
Well, you seem to be answering all my secondary and follow-up questions as well. We only really have time for one more question, I'm afraid. How will the digital world we live in shape what kind of teacher you become?
So through use of tools like the iPad, students with disabilities can engage in activities mainstream students would think of as commonplace. For example, tools that are built into the iPad make reading easier for people with visual impairment. Through the use of extra aftermarket projects, students with physical impairments, they can put tools in their mouth and use them to prod the screen. You can pretty much do anything. Need it integrated into a wheelchair? No problem. The software can handle that. Can't talk? No problem. You can have the iPad talk for the student. Dragonsoft, naturally speaking, other software that they can use on their home computers at school, improves vocabulary, reading and speaking skills. I mean, you want to find out how students are doing in other countries, fine, let your students become a part of a secondary or tertiary community by engaging with these other students online. The best part about using the internet as an educational tool is the fact that students can practice in their own time, on their own terms, at home, online, on their phone, online, at school, online. It's all able to be linked. And with the advent of laptops being made available for students, they'll effectively be able to take their classrooms anywhere they like. Integrating art, music, world culture, world music, and everyday bog standard same old life into the classroom through the internet and through using tools such as iPads and other things, YouTube, Tumblr, image sharing sites, Hulu, everything's out there. Yeah. I honestly think in the future children will be in a virtual classroom. We're not going to be bound to physical locations anymore. We'll be able to learn online just like I'm doing at the moment. I mean, this interview is being performed at my house. I can upload it to data centers throughout all points across the globe, and it's just a fraction of the way we can interact, and not only within education, but within our entire lives. And this is the part of our digital world. Like, we can tailor the way we think to expose this technology and use it more. We open doors that we might want to stay closed. It's a bit of a Pandora's box, really. But at the same time, I think the benefits far outweigh the negatives. I mean, it opens up students to everyone, to allow them to become part of not only their family, their local community and country, but to become part of the global community where thoughts and ideas can mix to make the world a better place and make people smarter, stronger, better, make technology better. However, with great tools, these all have great responsibility, and we need to ensure that children are safe when they're engaging with this technology, and that is paramount. So I think I'll finish off by saying, to those parents who are concerned their children are going to be accessing things or be cyberbullied, monitor your children's usage of the internet, just like you'd monitor any adult interactions with your child. Don't put the computer in a room where it can be closed off. Have it in the main area of the house. Oh, that was the door closing. Just because the child is happy doesn't mean they aren't being exposed to negative themes or concepts. Monitor online usage, please. And as someone that likes to talk with their guests at dinner, don't let them use their phone at the dinner table either.
Well, that about wraps up all the time we have available today. We will end our series on young educators today. To my guest, Andrew, I say thank you, and the best of luck for your future.
Thanks, Aloysius. It's been fun.
Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.